mention it to me and
She said, well, we
don't.
could seat you at 5, open up for just regular menu.
Welcome, everyone. Executive Director for Human Services is Ricky Lyons.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hi there.
Good. Ricky Lyons, been up in Greene County for the last 16 years, raising my beautiful children in Athens, New York, and so blessed and honored to be part of this. And I've met my whole team, and I've spent a little 15, 20 minutes with them to understand their responsibilities. And I look forward to serving. And so whatever I can do to help, please let me know.
Great, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I am in New York City, so I came from New York City.
Gotcha.
I know. You're left far out.
Trying to quit while you're ahead.
Heard that many times before.
We ain't in Kansas no more, Toto.
No, it's not. Especially at the county fair, I learned about pigs too, and I was like, I said about a leash and they all laughed at me.
You want to discuss anything about money coming in?
Yes, I do want to discuss about money. I want to say that the Community Advisory Board has recommended an allocation of funds for the 2022 Youth Development Program. And we reviewed all the requests, and we're approving all the requests based on the money that we have, and based on the fact that 3 of the last year's participants did not participate. So we have the funds to approve everybody's request at this time. And I also want to tell you that OCFS also offered us a grant for youth development. It's an extra $6,451 for sports opportunities. So if anybody knows any programs that are in need of funding for youth ages 6 to 17 in the sports industry, it has to be specifically for sports. You've got fields, could be for training, etc.
Could it be for summer camp for children's activities?
I've really take a look into that. I'm sure.
My town has a summer camp, Charlie, and they're always looking for funding. I know when I first started on the legislature, we did a golfing program.
Great.
We gave a set of clubs, starter clubs, and they gave them lessons. That came through your office.
Tell Brian to get on.
Thank you. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
I know Catskill has a summer recreation program that's partially funded by the town and the school district.
Right. Carol.
Cooksaki PAL also, they do a lot of stuff with other towns, not just Cooksaki specific for their basketball in the winter. They have teams throughout the county that come there and they have tournaments.
And if you have contacts that you have them reach out to us, because of course they have to fill out the grant
Sure.
application and everything.
Yep.
Now that he came back in, I just want to say thank Ken specifically, and Sean, obviously, for giving me this reason. Ken's been a whirlwind of information and support through this journey. It's my 3rd weekend. And I look forward to giving away this money.
One action on my agenda. 2022 funding allocations for Greene County Department of Human Services Youth Bureau. I'd like to move that. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Hey, who seconds it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Is there anything else for county services this evening?
Just to thank Michelle and Kyra for their reports and sending that to us.
Motion to close.
Second.
We are closed.
Thank you.
I'll send you.
Don't forget the veterans.
Okay, I'd like to open up Public Works Committee at 6:05. And we'll start up with our highway superintendent's report. your surfboard back.
Good evening. First, I'd like to go through the superintendent's report. Right now, we're doing a lot of prep for paving for this upcoming paving season. I'll give you the doom and gloom a little bit later, but County Route 22 construction is ongoing. Bridge, it's on schedule. They're doing well. County Route 83, 40, and County Route 83 has been delayed because of right-of-way. We're still working through it. I'm working with County Attorney Ed, trying to get that moved forward, but it looks like we've lost this construction season. County Route 40 and 61, we've received the state and local agreement. We've agreed with the engineering involved to proceed with design. Timberlake and Bloomer Road, once again, we're still working through right away. County Route 17, our local funded project, looks like Evergreen Construction should be in there later in June. We couldn't get in there until June 15th anyway because of the stream restrictions. That's on schedule to be completed this spring. County Route 2 culvert replacement in the town of Lexington. We put out the bids for the structure and it looks like they're not gonna be able to fabricate that structure until September. September 30th is the deadline that we can work in the water. So getting a structure at the beginning of the month and only having 30 days to complete it is going to be either very difficult or not at all. So we're looking to either purchase the structure today at today's cost and then put the project off until next year, or somehow work with Greene County Soil and Water and possibly get an extension on the permit. But I'm not sure if they're going to really extend it too much further into October. Plus, on the mountaintop in October, November, snow can fly. So it'll be very difficult to get that project done this year. County Route 20, Cornwall Bridge, we're coming up with the final costs on that, but that project will proceed this year. Platte Clove Road Bridge in the town of Hunter. You'll see in the resolution that we have engineering services for that. So they should be putting together that final design. The town of Hunter recommended for them to take a look at the final design. Hopefully they'll agree with what our engineers and what SHPO has recommended. But once again, due to construction time period and the fact that that's a one-way in, one-way out, with the road closure at the very end, it's unlikely that our project's going to occur this year. Like I said, we're continuing to do roadside management, culvert replacements for the upcoming paving season. Brush and limb clearing, typical summer work. Now into the solid waste department. You'll see that we do have a change order for the Hunter transfer station that is due to the scale house that we purchased last year. Unfortunately, the state of New York did not review and approve the plans until October.
Why does the state of New York have to review a plan like that?
Because we're controlled by the Department of State.
We don't get local building permits. The state is our building.
Do we have an option that we can go with local control on that?
I believe we can create a code enforcement, but in the past, how do I become my own code enforcement officer? Run the risk of approving my own projects.
But we couldn't have a project like that approved by, if it was in town of Hunter for that scale, like Hunter zoning or whatever, couldn't review that for us if we wanted to.
I guess we could have submitted engineering plans, but we would have to get an engineer involved and design it. And that we did that in Catskill.
Yeah.
And it turned into a $150,000 scale house.
Really?
Yeah, it was still, I mean, and if it's stick built, we still have to pay prevailing wage. So it's.
I'm from New York State. I'm here to help you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's because of those delays, the cost of materials, the cost of construction, the cost of everything has risen. So
Do they realize the amount of unnecessary money that we have to spend?
Waste,
Huh?
waste.
I mean, seriously, do they even have a clue?
All about control.
Yeah, but
Are they even back in the office yet?
Huh?
That's the problem.
Back
That's
in
the
the
problem. I
office
mean, that's one of the delays.
I mean,
COVID hit
this
and
is-
everybody.
This is not a couple of dollars. This is a lot more. I mean, this is a substantial amount of more money.
They keep changing staff as well.
Yeah, we're seeing just on the turnover rate in Department of State from the days that, what, a year and a half ago, we finished Hunter and we've had 3 people, different inspectors from the Department of State.
A lot of money.
We submit plans for Catskill and Cooksaki and they always seem to be diverted to another person.
I mean, it's not a complicated thing to be built. What the hell?
To prefab. It's great.
Yeah,
It's 12 by 20,
yeah, I mean,
it's a glorified shed.
Yep.
That has a bathroom.
12 by 20.
But originally, we have to comply with all the state regulations, so. Cooksaki is going well. That transfer station is on schedule. Its construction is ongoing. The Catskill Transfer Station single stream recycling facility is also on schedule now. We have the contractor, so we're aggressively pushing them to start submitting the plans to get approved. Our compost is successful as well. Our machine in Catskill is doing about 150 pounds per day. So that's one of the bright spots that we've had. Unfortunately, the amount of waste that has come into our station recently, I don't know if anyone's been to the Catskill Transfer Station. It is, we're quite overwhelmed right now with the waste. And that's due to the fact that 3 of the 4 waste facilities out west were shut down because of wind. And just that little hiccup and shutdown, it basically the tri-state area is overwhelmed with waste at their transfer stations, and we're no exception. We
This
put,
happened last year too.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have a wind issue last year.
and just the sheer number of facilities that shut down, it's everybody, Ulster County, Columbia County, everyone's in the same boat. So it's getting smaller and smaller.
We're all taking it the same way.
That leads to our next topic is transportation and disposal for 2023 and beyond. We put out an RFP for transportation and disposal. We had 2 bidders, Waste Connections and Casella. Casella was $115.50 per ton. We currently pay around $55.60. Waste Connections, on the other hand, was $70.50. It's better, but it's still that's just the base price. That doesn't include fuel adjustments. That's a $15 increase in what we're paying right now.
How much would the fuel be? 75.
well, the fuel, we.
Currently paying right now, it's an additional $14.59.
So
That makes the increase around $30 a
So
ton.
looking at 105.
Tipping fee is $1.2 million higher alone.
Right,
Just the tipping fee, just the tipping fee.
We're gonna have to budget for about 1.2 million in fuel also next year.
Correct.
Oh my God.
Did you increase the amount of trucks needed for because in the contract, we talked one time and you said the contract didn't allow for enough truckage. Was it increased so that they have to provide a minimum amount of truckage?
No, we asked for 19 and the most they'll give us is 14. That's the amount of trailers they will give us.
Trailer comes with truck too, correct?
Correct.
So it's,
And they're usually, I think there's 2 trailers per truck now. They've actually increased it, but it's still.
Oh, no.
They kind of have us because there is no option B.
Are you gonna love this?
What,
For the one time, we ran our own trucks, right?
It only comes down to Catskill, and once it's in Catskill, what do we do with it?
That was it?
yeah, we don't ship
Never shipped
We
it.
never shipped, oh, that's
Yeah.
right, the direct ship from Hunter.
right, just down in Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we didn't build Hunter, and if we're not building, we weren't gonna build Cooksaki, the cost of shipping right now, transportation is through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, we're spending tens of thousands of dollars on going to all the transfer stations and the satellite stations, picking up recycling along.
And there was only 2 bidders,
There's only 2 bidders.
no sense in rebidding.
Only 2 bidders are gonna,
Yeah.
that's the only 2 really in the game.
It really comes down to county waste. They own the landfill.
Well, county waste is Waste Solutions.
Waste
Correct.
Connections,
Waste
Waste
Connections.
Connection.
correct.
So what Darrell was talking about in the contract, with the language of the contract, does it allow us
To do our own,
to get our own, to get to that 19? If down the road, is the language drawn up in a contract like
We
that?
could separate it, but at this point, I don't think we're gonna get anything better with someone else.
You still have to have somebody to drive.
Yeah, you still gotta drive the,
No, Mike's talking about putting out an
RFP just for
trucking.
transportation.
Right,
because we put it out together, trucking, transportation and disposal together, do an RFP just for the,
I mean, I didn't know if,
but you'd be paying a higher tipping fee though at that point.
I don't think so. I don't know.
What about I know there's a couple spots where the railroad, it's in the county. I mean, what if we made an investment they're running trains out to Seneca all the time. I mean, then you're not, the tipping fee is gonna be the tipping fee, but they can fill up cars and send them west. I mean, for hypothetical, say 3 freight cars going out, that's 14 tractor trailers that aren't even leaving your county and it's burning an 1/8 of the amount of fuel.
Several
That
years
was
ago.
technically the original plans for Catskill. That's why it's next to the railroad track, it's not the spur come off.
Several years ago, I'd say that this wouldn't be cost effective, but
We don't have the staging area at the rail yard in order to leave the train or the cars there to pack the
Yeah.
cars and then get hooked up into the system.
maybe isn't there 2 lines going through there now on the back
Sure
side?
there is. There's sidings and they pick up whatever at the pressure treating place. They're at Peckham, you got local lines that come in and if we could.
I mean, I gotta be honest, at this point, I don't see, if fuel prices going up anymore, we're gonna start getting to a point where our tipping fees are going to push people away from coming to and then
You're gonna see more burn barrels.
it sounds like if
Face
that's a
it.
bad thing, it's a horrible thing, because then our costs are gonna be astronomical, because we're not gonna be able to afford to go to these other transfer stations to pick up recycling. We're gonna have to start charging for recycling because it costs money to pick it up. There's going to be a cutoff point where our tipping fee is gonna discourage people from coming to our transfer station, where our volume goes down and then our
Expenditures go up.
right, and we have nothing that offset the balance.
Right.
So solid waste is definitely
Would it
something.
not be a good idea to minimally raise the tipping fee now, so
And that's what we are. We're raising,
we get used to it a little at a time rather than,
we have
Awesome.
just put out to all of our high volume customers that our tipping high volume rate is gonna go up from $85 to $90 a ton. Starting in June 1st. Because the amount of money, the cost of fuel right now has gone so high that we have to do something to offset it.
That's gonna come down to the consumer.
It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
I mean, it's
You're
just
going to the grocery store.
Common sense is gonna float down to consumer, that's all.
Build it back better.
I think during the budget cycle, late summer and fall, we should have a discussion about can solid waste be neutral from an operational standpoint on the tax one. Have to raise rates, maybe even the residential rates on the drop-offs. I'm not sure it can be. We run a 400, if we normally run a $400,000 deficit, what did that just increase because of these?
Just in fuel prices alone, you're looking at, if we didn't raise our prices, you're looking at $190,000 increase in expenditures just on fuel.
Solid
This year.
Solid waste.
The remaining of the year.
Remaining of the year. If we don't adjust it from 85 to 90, we're looking at $195,000 deficit.
$250,000.
That's just on fuel. We're already, I mean, we fluctuate between, like you said, 380 to 450 every year of a
Deficit.
deficit.
It's gonna be hard to put a number to that when we raise the price, because we don't know what that tipping point is gonna be where
Because once you get
haulers
to,
go somewhere else. It's gonna be a tough 23 budget to figure out on this one.
Well,
How much
you guys should-
haulers are gonna move if everybody's in the same boat anyway.
right, I think you should be confident that you guys are running a pretty tight ship and an efficient ship by industry standards. And that until your counterparts in the surrounding areas get as efficient as you, I think will be able to get up on those charges and still maintain that volume. Because the other organizations are facing the same thing.
Right.
They don't have any magic ball in this, show either, so.
It's just a matter of time though, when their contract's up versus when ours.
Right.
We may lag for a year, but then their contract's up and then we're gonna be below everybody again. Anyway, it's a matter of time, how long that it's gonna be or how long we can sustain that loss is what it's gonna come down to.
Well, we've also got a business model that's accustomed to a $300,000, $400,000 per year loss.
Right.
And maintaining that as an.
Used to be higher.
Right. Used to be
Oh, yeah, we've come
higher.
way down.
Become
Yeah.
accustomed to that. So we've never had the prices that paid the full shot.
Right.
and the single stream certainly is something that has enticed these haulers that once you drop off your single stream, you can drop off your MSW. So, and they don't have to go anywhere else. That's a huge benefit that's going to attract them to the station. So
That was the premise of building our own.
right,
Yeah, Butler building or whatever you want to
because there isn't a single stream facility around here. So that's
But that's why you gotta be open to next.
if I don't have trailers, the lower you can be.
I'm just saying, somehow it's gotta work out, because that's what those people are.
Trailers are the trailers, and we're running. Look, we can go to Catskill tomorrow. You can see what lack of trailers
I
does.
don't have to, I see 100.
It's a problem. So we beat down their door trying to get more, but if everyone's in the same boat with the restrictions on driving now, with the closures, and the lack of drivers to begin with. We're gonna have the same issue as far as applicants to our highway department. It's very difficult to entice people to come work for the county.
They have electric trucks and they can't make the whole trip home shot.
I'd laugh at that, but I wouldn't be.
I'm sorry.
It's in the future. I mean, you see the laws coming out with your local lawn and your smaller pieces of equipment, but it's just a matter of time before larger equipment is there.
And they'll carry 1/3 the weight.
That's why we have to purchase this equipment now.
Oh, God.
Nice segue there, Scott. Nice segue.
We gotta have
That's the next one.
You won't have any drivers. But we are transitioning into a time where we're trying to get these trucks outfitted with liquid treatment, and the liquid treatment will extend the plow run. That's huge. Not only will increase the plow run, it will decrease the amount of material we put on the ground. So you see all these sweepers out today, that will decrease that. And the amount of rental equipment that we have to rent this time of year to clean up all that debris that we put on the mountaintop is notorious for putting out just an outrageous amount of mixed material. If we can transition into a liquid salt and reduce the amount of material we put out, it reduces the amount of material we have to pick up this time of year.
The only downfall to that is you gotta replace your car twice as fast.
Well, there's treatments that you can do to your trucks, and we'll have to be diligent about making sure they're taken
I
care of.
don't mean the county's trucks, I mean my own.
That will be a problem.
I'm pretty quick.
But now we're much worse than salt, road salt.
Right. So, yes, that probably would.
Give some, take some.
The county will save money though. What we're seeing now is the Adirondacks are actually leading the way with salt reduction, and they're using a lot of liquid treatments with different types of liquids to mix with it in order to activate it prior to getting on the ground. So I think what we're seeing up there, we're going to try to implement down here. There's brines, there's actual treated salt, there's liquids that basically they're not bad for the environment, but they.
Yeah, Brian, I don't think.
Right, it's basically, it's a salt, that's just a salt water
Well,
combination.
they're talking about what from fracking, but now that fracking's been.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff.
They're
There's
down.
We don't frack here. but-
There's natural too.
beet juice, there's the byproduct from the making of beer.
Yep, malt,
There's a,
hops.
yeah. So yeah, there's all sorts, there's what is it? Molasses, there's molasses that they put on
Yep.
material, so there's a lot of.
I know
different-
beet juice seems to be the one in upstate a lot, you know,
Turn your car red.
seems to be, it's all, it's natural, doesn't hurt the environment.
It is, and they're trying to reduce the salt content
Right.
that's put out on the ground, so. I think the newer equipment, our older equipment can't do it, so we have to upgrade that stuff with computerized systems.
Just need solar roads, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be electrified wall.
Yeah.
Scott, one last question. Coxsackie transfer, what
Yes.
do you think the completion date is?
Oof, when does,
November. They're still diverting all the C and D from there, right?
Correct.
Yeah, to Catskill, correct.
And that will also move up from a 2 to 3 person operation.
has to. Oh, yeah, there's no way really around it. You could, yeah, no,
Don't tell me there's.
there's no way,
Now.
yeah, there's no way, not. Unless the volume goes down so drastically that we don't, which I don't see that happen. I mean, it's just our transfer stations now are so overwhelmed.
Scott, on that Coxsackie site, do we run the risk of our primary contractor coming back with a change order because of a price increase on the building and stuff that was ordered? This is all locked in now?
No, that's all locked in. I'm not gonna say there's no more change orders, but the steel structure itself is locked in.
That's locked in. For Coxsackie.
Coxsackie.
And what's it looking like for the Catskill recycling building?
There is going to be an increase. Steel prices right now, we did the material bids for our guide rail, and that's gone up astronomically. I mean, just plastic pipe alone has doubled.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the price of asphalt has gone up. I mean, right now, from January until now, it's gone up about almost $7.65 a ton because of fuel.
That was my next question. You had planned about 20 miles of paving county roads?
We put a contingency in there, so we still will get 20.
Okay.
If it starts getting, I mean, even if it goes to $10, we'll still have enough to.
We're still looking at only, it was what, 75? So now it's what, 82?
What for the,
Ton?
we were at, it was 65 plus the, whatever the,
Actually, it's 72.
so
I
plus
remember
the,
years when it was $90 a ton.
we were doing
This
was 12 miles,
This is still,
12 miles of pavement.
still a bargain.
Two years ago, it was like 50.
Yeah.
The other two.
Which there is, we're CHIPS, Pave New York, EWR, and there is a new program called Pave Our Potholes. I didn't make it
Catchy
up.
name.
I didn't make it up. But they're all linked to surface treatments.
Who
So
thinks of that? Who thinks that up?
we were battling this.
Smack yourself in the face, I'm telling you.
The Superintendent's Association's been battling just to take all that money and from Pave New York, EWR, and POP and put it all into chips so we can use it how we want to. But EWR, Pave New York, and POP is all restricted to certain type of surface treatments. So they want to make sure that that money is allocated towards paving, which is going to help. That's what it offsets the cost of fuel right now. That's it.
Nervous.
Kind of a killjoy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Great information.
The purchase of those 4 trucks, it is not a single axle 4-wheel drive, it's a single axle 2-wheel drive. It's not one of the 4-wheel drive vehicles that we're purchasing, it's 2-wheel drive.
And it's that price?
The price of the single axle, we bought 4 in 2020.
Yeah, that was 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Which adds 15 grand to the price.
The increase per truck is around $39,000.
Jeez.
For the tandems that we ordered a year ago in 2021, it's an additional $41,000 per truck.
Oh my God. How much effectiveness those do you need? The 4-wheel drive capacity.
Not too much. I mean, the amount of weight that you're putting in, the 4-wheel drive is mostly for the winter time, but we're putting so much weight in the back end with the salt that I think that the 4 that we have that are 4-wheel drive are strictly mountaintop to hilly areas. I think these other ones will be sufficient.
For a different geography.
Well, somewhat similar geography, but it's a less steep, yes. But I think that they're going to be certainly more universal.
How did the guys like those 4-wheel drives up there?
And that's, yeah, it took a little bit for them to get used to it.
Okay.
It took a little bit.
With the modern controls, ice controls too.
And the 4-wheel drive and
Yeah.
engaging it and disengaged, it was definitely a learning curve.
All right.
Lead time in the vehicle.
If at best, we're looking at the end of 2023, early 2024. Yes, and it is 2022 today.
20 months.
That's at best.
Two budgets like that.
And I don't see that getting any better, unfortunately. The equipment is getting to that point. The vehicles are there. We still haven't seen our 3 foreman trucks that we ordered or service truck that we ordered a year and a half ago. And they have no expectation on when we're gonna get them.
What about those tandems that you had go in there?
3 of them are over at Navistar, both Ben Funks in Hudson.
Oh, all right.
So their computers being updated and they're going through those trucks. So we should have those shortly.
Okay. You could have bought, for the 4 trucks, you could, 3 years ago's prices, we could have bought a 5th truck.
Yep, easily. And this is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving into the proposal action
People
items.
better wake up.
Mass Transportation Capital Project Supplementary Contract Agreement number 1. Linger.
Olivera.
Linger and Lavere, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Proposal for engineered services for a rehabilitation of the Black Cove Bridge over the Plattekill Creek, bin 3200120, town of Hunter. Leg, Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing award of paving
asphalt paving for Angelo Canna Park in the town of Carroll. Before we vote on that, can I mention something, Mr. Chairman? The town of Carroll is putting in approximately $160,000 of their own money, which includes the walking path and the exit out of the park on the main street and another road coming into the youth building that we use for the youth fair. Town of Carroll is also, in addition to the approximately 160,000, okay, approximate, has also installed the drainage, a new drainage before we even started the project. Probably, I don't know what the cost that is, but we're just want to mention that.
Thanks, Harry.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Did I get a motion on that?
Not yet. I just wanted to say that first. I'll make a motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing purchase of two new single axle two-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive.
It says four-wheel drive, yes, but it's.
They are two-wheel drive.
Are we 1,000% sure?
Now, the specs are in the, in the resolution.
Cabin chassis, including snow and ice control equipment.
Martinez.
Martinez?
Yeah, Martinez.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing purchase of two new 6x4 cabin chassis, including dump body and snow and ice control equipment.
Martinez, second.
Lennon and Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Awarding bid for element-specific bridge repair and maintenance labor and equipment rental. Leg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Awarding bid for purchase of highway materials, highway department.
Martinez.
Martinez Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Awarding bid for washed and screened crushed stone. I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing change order number 1 for Hunter Transfer Station Scale House. Leg, I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Is there anything else to bring before Public Works Committee?
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, was that Rivera Martinez?
Yeah, he's still.
Here, Martinez.
Yeah, one announcement from Farrell. Union Church is doing their dinner again this weekend, Saturday night, 1 to 5. Enjoy it.
12 to
12 to 5.
What's the dinner?
it's takeout,
Okay.
Mike. I missed the last one. They ran out by the time I got there, half hour after it started.
Is it a Ukrainian dish they make?
Yes, it's a Canadian food. It's
When is it?
Saturday. So if you really want to go and get something, you better get there 11:30.
It was sold out like half an hour, it was gone.
Yeah, it was all gone.
Also honor them on the 21st.
Yes, the 21st, 10 o'clock, right? Door Catskill.
We are closed.
Good night.